Yeah, we appreciate you guys being here today. We'll start with Ramey so he can get ready for today's practice.
Questions for Courtney?
Courtney, we get a chance to talk to you afterwards. Just what did you make of how you played the first half versus how much better y'all played the second half?
I think the difference was we were more aggressive in the second half and just playing loose. I think in the first half we just kind of played back on our heels instead of being aggressive. And then it just showed in the second half what we can do as a team moving forward, being aggressive.
Is that one thing that Trey said? I thought was interesting. Trey said that was what we were going to do. That was us. Is that fair?
I think it was clear for us that in the second half we were down so many points, so we had to be aggressive to make it a game. And like Trey said, I think that is who our team's going to be and who we will be.
Ross?
Do you think, that, caginess in the first half is kind of a product of you guys being so bought in as a unit that, guys like Marcus, forget that, they could just take the ball to the hoop themselves? And do you think that once you guys, got past that and remembered to play your own game, that's why, things got better in the second?
We're a new team, so we're trying to figure each other out. I mean, it's going to be a process for us, but at the end of the day, we're all players. And I just think we're just trying to get better each and every day and just trying to figure each other out.
Well, Courtney, how good is that Gonzaga?
They're a good team. They bought into their game plan. I think over time we could be a team that compete with them again when we see them later down the road. So our focus right now is our next game, not the last game.
Joe in the back?
What did you learn from that game that you can use for this game?
Be aggressive. Be aggressive from the start to the end instead of waiting until when it's the second half to be aggressive. So coming out the game aggressive.
Jeff?
Courtney, you've always been pretty solid rebounder since you've been here. I mean, you guys as a guard group, how do you view rebounding? Because I know Trey was talking about team rebounding and, mentioned he only had one offensive rebound. He said rebounding as a whole needs to be better. How do you look at it as a guard group to get better?
We can all get better as a team at rebounding, but I think specifically as the guards, I think we can get more and just try to get more scrappy. And then I think that's going to be shown in the next game of us trying to lead the team in rebounds if we have to. So our goal is to rebound more as a team.
Anything else for Courtney? Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Courtney.
Thanks, Courtney. Questions for Coach? Bob, go ahead.
Just kind of the same question, but obviously you've seen a ton of Gonzaga from you watching them for a long time now. How good was that team that faced them?
Yeah, Gonzaga's good. 2 games into the year, I'd argue they're as good as anybody. So it's early in the season. Actually talked to Coach Few today, and same kind of thing. I think everybody recognizes it's early in the season. You just got to keep going in the right direction. But right now, today, it's 2 games into the season. I think they're worthy of a number 1 ranking.
Do y'all have, when we talk to Coach Few, do y'all have conversations about, he says something like, I noticed this, or you said, I noticed this about your team, or is it just more surface level?
Yeah, I don't want to talk specifically about my friendship with Coach Few, but I would think, that would be kind of rare if 2 coaches were doing that. But it does happen, and I'm blessed in coaching to have some people that I could compete against and then talk to them after the game. Doesn't happen a lot, though.
Jeff in front line?
Chris, can I go back to the rebounding thing? Trey kind of expressed that you guys, I think, +1 the night rebound, but he said as a whole, and he included himself, that it probably needs to be better. What did you think watching the tape of how your guys rebounded?
Well, we have to play better defense, guys. That's not our defensive plan. What we saw on Saturday night. So, first of all, give Gonzaga a lot of credit. I'm not ever going to sit up there and talk about everything that we didn't do. I'm going to talk a lot about the other guy first. So it wasn't like we were out there not trying to play well. Gonzaga was a big part of that, and we've already talked about them being the number 1 team in the country right now. So I think any kind of rebounding numbers, or you got to kind of look into the defense too. If a team's shooting 60% for you, there's not a lot of rebounds to get.
Brian, go ahead.
Chris, what is the process of being kind of defensively tough-minded? I mean, is that? I can't imagine that's something that happens in one day or 1 week. Is that it, or does it?
No, it's over time. It's if you're going to be tough, you got to have a tough culture. You got to be tough every day. You got to be tough on the off day in between a disappointing game and the decisions that you're going to make. You got to be tough at halftime. You got to be tough when you're taking coaching. got to be tough at 10 a.m. on a beautiful day in June, where you're supposed to go to the weight room, but the Guadalupe River's right down the road. You got to be tough. Toughness isn't a I want to be tough today, coach. Toughness is a deal. I mean, just think of the people you guys know. Who are the toughest people you know? They're always tough, not just in certain circumstances. So, and with us, we're in the early stages. We have some individuals in our program that I consider tough people, but that doesn't make a tough team. The whole deal's got to buy in. The culture has to be there. It has to be there every day. And we're a work in progress on that regard. Obviously, there was moments in the last game where we looked pretty tough. We outplayed them in the second half. It doesn't happen a lot, especially in that atmosphere in their gym. You guys saw the game. So it's not we're not talking about capable. We're talking about willing. We're capable of being tough. Question is, are we willing to do it when it matters most?
Joe, in front, until Dylan is clear, I guess interior defense may be a small hole for y'all's team, and I know you're not going to face someone like Timmy, but how do you try to alleviate that problem?
Yeah, I'm not buying into that one, guys. I respectfully disagree on that. I think somebody, wrote that and everybody runs with it. I don't think we're a small team. I don't think we have a problem. I think Christian Bishop's a good player. He played in the Big East. He needs to play better than he played the other night. He'd be the first to tell you that. I think Trey is 6'9", last time I checked, and he's one of the best players, and he's got to play better. And I think he'd be the first to tell you that. Just like we have to coach better. I think Brock Cunningham is one of the all-time tough guys in this league's history. He's got to play better, and I think Brock would tell you that. Certainly, when Dylan joins the team, it's another player. But I'm not going to sit here and buy into that deal. I don't think we're undersized. I don't think that's an issue right now. I think the players that play minutes in games have to perform better, just like the coaches have to perform better, myself included.
Jeff, in the back camera one.
You speak of toughness a lot. You said there were tough moments in the game the other night. What does toughness look like to you on the court? Is that diving after loose balls? Are there other indicators of toughness that you see?
Yeah, I think both. I think that's the first thing probably we all kind of think of toughness. There's a loose ball. One guy jumps on it, one guy doesn't. There's a play around the basket. One guy gets pushed underneath. One guy stays his ground. A guy bloodies his nose. One guy runs for the towel, and he's looking like he's at a drama movie. And then the other guy's stone-faced. So there's the physical things that we all know. My daughter Margot could tell you those right now today. The next level of toughness is a mental toughness. The official, who's a human being, makes a bad call. Are you going to be theatrical and look forward, or do you understand it's part of the game? Never in the history of our game has a ref changed a call because of what a player thinks. So now we're getting into mental toughness. You're playing decent basketball, but the ball's not going in. You're catching some breaks on the bad end. The other team's on an 8-0 run. There's 4,000 students cheering nonstop. They're slapping the floor. It's loud. You can't hear yourself. You got to have some mental toughness there. Then the third level, which we haven't gotten to yet, and it's a process, it's just discipline. Because at the end of the day, toughness isn't the things I just described, because everybody's going to do that. There's not one guy in the Big 12 not going to dive on a loose ball. So, that's a given. There might be a few games we can win on physical toughness, not many. So really what it gets into is discipline. And I would argue that that's the definition of toughness. Toughness is discipline. My mom, she used to be a crosswalk worker. She had to wake up every day about 5:45. Didn't matter what the weather was. Didn't matter how she felt. Didn't matter what was going on. She had to get there. She had to get to her corner, and because the kids were dependent on her, and that was her job. That's toughness to me. That's toughness, and that's what our guys have got to understand. It's not just the weight room. Boy, he's a tough guy. It's discipline, man. It's discipline. That's what toughness is.
Joe, in the back camera.
Coach, you said going into that game that you guys were going to win no matter what the scoreboard said at the end, because of what you would learn. What was it that you guys learned from this game?
Yeah, I know that sounds kind of twisted, but I still feel that way. Now it's up to us. We have an opportunity to win from the Gonzaga disappointing performance if we take advantage of it. And for us, that started yesterday in practice, and I thought it was our best practice of the year. Today we have to respond and have another one, and that would put us in our first back-to-back great practices of the year. Then we certainly got to go beat a good team on tomorrow, which is Wednesday, which I'm sure you guys got some questions about. They're a good opponent. So I think we still have a chance to win. Yeah, it's one of those games we could look back and be, boy, we got better after that Gonzaga game. Now, we haven't done it yet, but we have an opportunity to do if we choose to.
Brian in front.
The only two possessions I wanted to ask you about was the 2 shot clock violations in the first half. But the first 2 games combined, have you seen any tentativeness on the guys, or do you think guys are taking shots when they're open and there, and that was just an anomaly more than anything?
Well, I think it's a fine line. I think if you go back and look at our first few possessions of the game, we just can't get a stop. We actually shot 50%. It was kind of a weird game, right? You guys saw it. We played for 6 minutes because the media timeout didn't happen at 4. Both teams were a little tired. I wish we would have been a little bit tougher in that segment. That's, to me, what we call 4-1 around here, and we're not there right now. It's not being critical. It's just being a truth teller. But during that time, when we shot 50%, we only had 1 turnover in the first 6 minutes of the game, and it was a Marcus non-jump stop, and Timmy takes the charge. If you'd have told me before the game you're going to shoot 50%, you're going to have 1 turnover, it's a dead ball turnover, it's not going to cost you a fast break in the first 6 minutes of the game, we probably would have took it. The story around here, guys, and I know it's y'all too, it's what y'all see, it's defense. We didn't play any defense the first 6 minutes of the game, and that has to change. Offensively, I'll just continue to say, as of today, right now, when you ask this question, I think the majority of our players, their hearts are in the right place. They're trying to find that balance between when to be aggressive and when to move the ball. I thought in the second half we saw it best because we just made a commitment to play through Trey early. We went inside. Timmy made some great plays. That looked good. That felt right. Early, if you think about it, though, when Andrew Jones has a wide open 3, we want Jones to take that 3, right? So it's just a balance. We're a work in progress. I'm not changing my tune. If you think about it, I'm being consistent. We just got to keep working on exactly what our offense is going to look like and feel like with all this talent.
Jeff?
Chris, kind of getting to the opponent tomorrow, just kind of your general philosophy on some of these non-conference games where the perception is, you should win by X or, handle the game accordingly. How do you, with your guys' view, matchups with the opponent specific as opposed to it's about us and here's what we need to get better at by the end of this game?
Yeah, well, we have 0 of that going into this game, guys. Northern Colorado is an NCAA tournament team. They're picked by most to win their league. They're going to play about 8 players in this team, and 7 of them are vets. They have no freshmen on their roster. 7 upperclassmen are going to play. They're older than we are. When you factor in that we have Jalen and Devin, they're older than we are. They got a 6-year guy. So they have 4 returning starters. One of them, I think, will end up being the MVP of their league. They have an all-conference guard. They have one of the best 3-point shooters in college basketball. Transferred from Monique State. He's made 199 threes, I think, in the last 2 years. No one's made more. And you guys have seen a lot of great 3-point shooting, as I have, being in this league. He's an NBA shooter. I'm not saying he's an NBA player. He's an NBA shooter. He can shoot from all over the floor. They have an interior guy that's averaging 11 rebounds a game. I'll do the work for you if you haven't. He's one of the best rebounders in college basketball in this early preseason. So this team has good teams. They've already won a road game. They started their season. They went to Hawaii and played on Hawaii's floor, and they got 2 quality Division I wins, beat Pacific and beat Hawaii on their home floor. Got a great coaching staff, experienced players. So this is not one of those games where you got to ask the coach, how do you get the guys ready to play? If our guys aren't ready to play Wednesday, then that's a real concern. This team has our full attention, our full respect. We'll see how Northern Colorado's season ends up. And I think when you look back at this press conference, I'll be right on this one. This is a good team.
Front right.
Hey, Coach. I had a question about a specific player on Northern Colorado, Dalen Kuntz. He's their leading scorer right now. What do you think are going to be the keys to keeping the ball out of his hands and letting him shoot from wherever he wants?
Yeah, another good player, transfer from Colorado, played in the Pac-12. He's averaging over 20 points a game, guys. Left-handed, but he can go both ways. He's kind of smooth up top. He can just get to his spots and places. And again, guys, they played good competition. They played on the road. They're 4 games into their season. So he's a good player. I would tell you he's a scorer. He can score at all 3 levels. He's a guy that we'll have to game plan for. We're not just going to be able to throw the ball out there tomorrow night. We'll have to play well tomorrow night. We'll have to respond. Everybody in college basketball has players. You guys have seen the early season games, whether it's already in the Big 12, somebody got popped on their home floor, or whether it was opening night, all the games that have happened across the country. Northern Colorado is more than capable. Period.
Front left.
Yeah, so in terms of rotation, I think it's like you have 9 players with over 14 minutes playing time per game. Do you see that kind of trend continuing, spreading the playing time around, or are you trying to focus it down to the consultants?
Yeah, we're just getting started. It's a real challenge in the first season. It's a real challenge in having so many new players. And so we're just getting started. To say that, I don't know where this thing could go. We could play as many as more than that, or it could go light. What I would say is I'm not in charge of that. The players are. I don't play guys just because I like them. I don't play guys just because, that's the deal. My last name's, Smith. I'm going to play. It doesn't work like that. They're going to have to earn it. Guys are going to have to play on the defensive end, and I think some of the guys are a little bit ahead of others in that regard. But if you don't play defense around here, there's just too much talent on the roster. And then it's just going to be about finding roles and trying to figure this thing out as we go. But to me, it starts on the defensive end. That was our issues against Gonzaga more than anything, if you look at it. But give Gonzaga credit, because I'm not saying that our defensive problems were all self-inflicted. A lot of it was imposed by them, the number one team in the country on their home floor.
Jeff? Chris, well, when I said specifically about Jase, it seemed like he gave you a lot off the bench at both ends the other night. And I know it's one game, and I don't know what you saw on the tape, but is that kind of, when you talk about him being a complete player, the glimpses he showed the other night, is that kind of what you envision for him when you talk about him being a complete player?
Yeah, I think specifically the night Jase took advantage of his opportunity. He earned more minutes in that game. Jase a good player. He's more than just a shooter. He's gotten to the free throw line this early season. He's shown the ability to do some things defensively that we had hoped for. The other thing just about Jase, you guys know as well as I do, he just has a poise about him. The moment's never going to be too big. He's just one of those guys that, where you're playing on the road and you're fighting from behind early. You're just trying to tread water. He's the guy that needed to be on the court. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. He's got that poise about him. And really, I was telling some of the other guys this week in individual meetings that they should learn from Jase. A lot of times players just think, I got to go watch a movie, or I got to go get on YouTube, or I got to go read a book. Sometimes the motivation's right in front of you. You want to know toughness, just go eat lunch with John Riley. You want to know commitment and work ethic, go hang out in the training room with Warren. And then like you're mentioning, if you want to know poise, and a guy that really doesn't get too high or too low, you guys have been around him more than I have, right? It's Jase. That guy is poised. And I hope our team takes his personality in big moments, especially on the road and crazy times like that. If we could take the personality of Jase, I think we would be in a pretty good situation because he's a poised guy.
Right in front. Any changes with Dylan?
No, but we're getting there. He's practicing, guys. And as soon as I know, I'll tell you. I don't mind the questions, though. He's practicing. I think he'll play sooner than later. The doctors are completely in charge of this, and the trainers, and then Dylan. And I think Dylan's family is special, too. We're all connected. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think we're on the same page, and we're doing what's best for him, and we're doing what's best for him long term, too. So I think we all have a lot of respect, like for the high school football player, that's probably not going to play in college, and he's going to go out there and he's going to play those last two games on that knee because that doctor tells him, hey, it's not going to get any worse if you can endure the pain. But that's not what we're talking about here, right? We're talking about a guy that's going to play basketball until he's 40 years old. So I don't think we're being conservative. I don't think we're being safe, but I just think we're doing the right thing. But ultimately, those aren't my decisions. I let the doctor be the doctor and let the bus driver drive the bus, and I just try to do what I'm supposed to do. I got my hands full, as you guys know.
Jeff? Chris, going back real quick, you mentioned Jase getting the foul line. Is that kind of a non-negotiable for your guards, or is that just some guys it's not their game? I guess I know you talked about that.
Yeah, victory's going to favor the more aggressive team. The more aggressive team gets fouled in basketball, right? It's free throws. Look at it. You can find kind of a weird stat sheet from time to time, but consistently, getting to the free throw line is a sign of aggressiveness. And I would say I listen to what Ramey said, and I agree with a lot of the stuff Ramey's saying. But, aggressive in the second half, yes, but, we got to the free throw line more. I thought we were pretty aggressive in the first half offensively too, but the aggression was jump shots. And so I think a lot of it, you want to get to the free throw line. Then it's just kind of Captain Obvious. When you have a stroke like Jase, I feel pretty good as the coach over there when he gets to shoot, 10-foot shots with no defense on him with the clock stopped. So I like that. He's worked on that a lot, moving without the ball. You know, you got to be careful contesting Jase's shot because he's a real threat to shot fake and get you up at any time. All the great ones have that. Be kind of like guarding Steph Curry tonight. You know, I have no idea how I would try to do that other than a lot of prayer, you know. And Jase is like that too because he can get you off your feet quickly. And but I like the fact that he's been to the free throw line every game we played this point. It's a positive for sure.
Last one, Ross.
Yeah, Coach. Devin was playing some crucial minutes down the stretch. Has he sort of exceeded or met your expectations going into the season?
I'll definitely not exceeded because I kind of downplay how I feel Devin as a player. He's a good player, brings some toughness to him. He competes on the defensive end. Just like all the players, he's trying to kind of figure it out right now. But, you know, again, guys, if he continues to run his own race, he's going to be a really good player here. And it could happen really soon, or it could be kind of a grind-out patient. I'm not sure exactly on that. Nobody knows that deal. That's just kind of basketball. But as you guys saw, he had a great opportunity on Saturday night, and he took advantage of it in a lot of ways. You know, I think Dev's got to get into the situation where our team plays better when he's in the game. You know, he's one of those guys, as all the players are. You know, it's like Coach Knight always said, what's the score when you come in the game? What's the score when you come out of the game? You know, you're going to impact winning, and that's what Dev is trying to do. His heart's in the right place. He's a talented guy. I have a lot of confidence in Dev. He's working at it. Nobody cares more. He puts time in the gym. So it was nice to see him play some good basketball, you know, Saturday. But did it surprise me? No. Is he exceeding my expectations? No, because I have a very, very high feeling about Dev.
Thanks all.
Thanks. See you guys.